What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex. In this video, I want to talk about my release date predictions for Little Hope. Now, we've talked about this game quite a bit on this channel on Podcast Now. You guys have always supported this game. I truly do appreciate it. It's a game that's been rising in popularity, and to be honest, the support that it's gotten on these two channels has made me want to play it more than I would have. I do really want to play this game. I would have wanted to play it regardless, because of Until Dawn, because of some success of Man of Medan. But your guys' support has definitely allowed me to talk about this game a lot more than I was planning on it, and that's totally awesome. So we've gotten some leaks. We've talked about the leaks before of when this game could come out. There were like some listings as to when this game, I think on like Amazon or something, like the release date did leak, but nothing has been confirmed. And since then, we've gotten like basically the reveal trailer. It's talked about how at the end it still says summer 2020. We got like gameplay that we talked about, right, and we actually showed. I was able to show it. Was leaked. I don't know if they expected it or if they want it to be out there. I don't think that it really should in the way that it is, because it doesn't really come from like them, specifically them. But when you start to get this kind of stuff, it is curious that they haven't talked about the release date yet, and we're starting to see a lot of games start to come out. Yesterday we had The Last of Us Part 2 and Ghost of Tsushima. They finally nailed it down. They said, okay, here it is. Like, Last of Us is in June. Ghost of Tsushima is in July. Pretty much what I had predicted from the very beginning on Podcast Now. So I'm happy that my prediction came true. I'm happy that I was right on it. But now, like, we're the pieces are falling into place. We have The Last of Us Part 2. It's actually only a couple days. It's 4 days before SpongeBob, so that's fantastic, right? We also have SpongeBob that comes out June 23rd. Last of Us Part 2 that comes out June 19th. Obviously, we have Ghost of Tsushima that comes out July 17th. So these games are starting to get their times that they're when they're actually going to release. Destroy All Humans, right? That hasn't been announced yet, but I feel like that could probably be sometime in August. So Little Hope, I feel like, still is in that spot where it's either going to be June or it's either going to be August. I really do think that. July has games. It's the Death Stranding PC version. Catherine Full Body on the Nintendo Switch comes out. Obviously, we have Ghost of Tsushima now. But for the most part, July, people don't put games out there. Now, again, this is a very different year, obviously, with what's happened, right? This is a year that nobody has ever had before. And so could this game come out in July? Absolutely it could. And now, honestly, with the way it's going, I would personally prefer it to come out either in May, or, which would never happen, by the way. There's absolutely no way that would happen. May would be like the most ideal, but then like very, very late July or sometime in August, I feel like is the best time. That's from like a personal standpoint, that now it's like, all right, well, I'm getting The Last of Us Part 2, obviously day one. That's going to take up a lot of time. SpongeBob, I'm actually going to get 2, so that'll take up some time. And then Ghost of Tsushima comes out middle of July. That'll take up some time, basically through all of July. If Little Hope came out in June, it would probably be around the same time as The Last of Us, which I think would just be a very, very bad idea for any publisher to have their developers put out the game at that time. It just would not work out, I think, really well. So even from that perspective, when you think about it, The Last of Us Part 2, I don't think when you think of other games coming out around the same time, you don't think of it like you would for maybe like a Red Dead or like GTA, basically like a Rockstar game, right? Where when those games come out, it's really kind of how movies do it, where like when the big blockbuster movie comes out, you don't have other movies released that same day or even like a week after, because like that movie, you're going to get crushed. And movies do it better because they know the movie schedules, right, for like two-ish years, I'd say. You relatively know when movies are releasing, right? So you see movies do it as well as they can, where they try to, if there's a big Marvel movie or there's a big Disney movie or there's a big whatever kind of movie, normally any other movie that releases the same day or a week after, they get crushed, right? Gaming-wise, you don't see that as much, but you do see it. You have to look for it a little bit more. Publishers mainly don't put out their games around the same time. So if a game is being published by a publisher and another game is being published by the same company, they normally will separate those games because they want to push, promote, and have that game sell one at a time, right? And that's what we've talked about for a while. Now, obviously, Little Hope is not being published by Sony, which is what, obviously Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima are. And again, you don't really see it all that much with games really trying to run away from other games' releases, other than Rockstar. But let me tell you, The Last of Us is a massive game. It's going to sell 10 to 15 million copies, I'd imagine. I'd imagine actually a little bit more than that, probably 15 as the minimum, and then you go up from there. That's a lot. And now, obviously, not everybody has a PlayStation. Not everybody that would buy Little Hope is having a PlayStation. But let me tell you, this game is not, I'm excited for it. I'm pumped. It's a small game, so it's really good, right? You probably can get in, beat it in one day, and get out, which is actually kind of solid. But let's not kid ourselves here. It's not the biggest game of the year. It's not a game of the year. It's not a game of the generation. It's not a game that, you have to be afraid of releasing other games with it. You have to be afraid of releasing that game on the day of another game. That's just how it is. It kind of does suck to kind of be like that underdog or be that smaller thing, but that's what Little Hope is. So if Little Hope releases around the same time, I mean, it's going to get crushed, and people aren't going to, more than just that, people aren't going to talk about it. And I think that with a 8-game anthology that they're trying to do, and Little Hope really is important, right? Because Man of Medan was not a good starting point. It was a decent starting point, but it wasn't like this is how, like, it wasn't the greatest thing in the world where you have so much confidence that the other 7 games are just going to be, like so fluid and so masterful. You don't have that sense, right? If Until Dawn was the first game of this, then we'd feel a lot more confident. But there's a lot riding on Little Hope. It needs to be at least a rebound. It needs to be better than Man of Medan and show that they're going in a positive direction. And I think it will be, by the way. I think it will be. I think it will put them in a positive direction. But people need to say that out loud, and people need to cover that. And they will not cover it if you release it in this window where it's just all PlayStation games, right? It will not get the attention that it may deserve. Now, it may not deserve any attention, but it may deserve it, right? So, again, when I'm predicting it, I have said, and those leaks, I believe the leak was, June 16th? So that would be 3 days before The Last of Us. I hope that's wrong now. I would have said I hope it's right, because before it would have maybe fit, because it's like a week and a half before Ghost of Tsushima, when it was originally June 26th. Like, maybe it would have worked better there, but as of right now, as the way you're doing it, and we're literally seeing games delayed just to delay them, just to get one out before the other, or, and I guess they'll just polish them, but the games are pretty much done. We're seeing this happen, especially with Sony, but actually specifically with Sony, but we're seeing it happen. So I don't think it's crazy to assume, even believe, say Little Hope is ready for June 16th. I don't think it'd be the craziest thing in the world to delay it a month and a half or 2 months till August. That would put it the same time as Man of Medan, a year after it, which actually is bad in its own right. But I think that's something you have to seriously consider doing. Again, when predicting it, I think that I'll say, again, what I want would be May, which is never going to happen, or August. What I think they will do is either mid-June, literally the week of or before The Last of Us, or August. That is the two that I think I was going to say Man of Medan again, that Little Hope I think will come out in. That's my personal prediction. I'm really hoping August. I'm going to predict August as like choice number 2, and I'm really going to hope that that's going to be, because I want to play this game. I want to give this game a chance. I want the gaming industry and the gaming consumers to give it a chance, and I just don't think releasing it the same week as The Last of Us Part 2 is going to be a solid move for it. So, guys, let me know in the comments below. What do you think? When do you think Little Hope is going to release? Do you think it'll have a problem if it releases too close to The Last of Us Part 2 or Ghost of Tsushima? Let me know. Make sure you guys subscribe to this YouTube channel. Hit the bell icon so you guys know when all these videos go up. And I do a new video on this channel every single day, and so I hope to see you guys on tomorrow's video.